Hello and welcome back. We're continuing to navigate through the builder's journey, the 6 stages that businesses go through from the soil stage all the way to the flourish stage. We are up to stage 4 today, so if you haven't caught stages 1 through 3, this would be a good time to pause and to catch up on those videos so that you have all of the background as we move into this next stage. So let's dive in. You wanted growth and you got it. Clients are coming in, revenue is up, but now everything is feeling almost like a tangled mess. Welcome to the overgrown stage, where what once felt exciting and just new and you were pumped can begin to feel a little bit exhausting, even draining. And it's because you're finally growing just without enough structure to support that growth. This stage can surprise a lot of people. You prayed for this, you hoped for this, you planned for this, but now it's here and you're feeling so overwhelmed. You're no longer chasing clients. What you're really just chasing is time, because it never feels like you have enough time. Think of it almost like a wild garden. You planted the seed, you watered it, you nurtured it, things are beginning to grow, but without pruning or order, it can start to take over. And what was initially beautiful, what initially looked so awesome, can begin to feel a little bit messy. Saying yes to everything because everything looks good. You found yourself saying yes to everything because from your vantage point, everything looks good and it's going to add to this beautiful garden that I am growing. But now you've got seeds that are actually wrapping around the roots and they're beginning to choke out the life of what you're trying to grow. You're drowning in good and you're starving for what's truly best. Clients are falling through the cracks, unfortunately. You're doing everything yourself, and the systems that were fine when you had 3 clients, now they're just not cutting it. They're breaking under the weight of your exponential growth. This stage can be loud, it can be reactive, it can be full of good things, all of these good things that are slowly draining your energy. And here's what most entrepreneurs may not realize about this stage. You can be making money, even lots of it, and still operating in survival mode. And as an individual who has operated in survival mode, I can tell you firsthand that it's draining. It's not just the physical toll that it takes on you, but it's also the mental capacity that it drains from you as well. You find yourself being busy, but you're not being strategic. You're building, but you're also burning out. You spend time putting out fires. I'm telling you, you have become the great firefighter. You're hiring, but there's no onboarding of new hires. So your team doesn't have any clarity and they don't know how to produce what you want them to produce in the way that you want them to produce it. If you don't pause and get intentional right now, the growth that once felt like a blessing can start to feel like a burden, and nobody really wants that. I want you to think about this as your Moses moment. For those who are familiar with the story of Moses in the Bible, you've answered the call, you're moving forward, people are relying on you, but now it's beginning to feel like a lot. In Exodus 18, Moses found himself carrying the full weight of leadership and the full weight of everything by himself, and it was literally sucking the life out of him. But thankfully, he had an awesome father-in-law that was noticing the madness that was surrounding Moses, and he pulled him aside and he said, "Listen, what you are doing is not good. This work is too much for you. You cannot handle it alone." And those were some very, very wise words. And that's the danger, that's the hidden danger, I should say, of this stage that you're in. It keeps you moving until it breaks you. The truth is, you don't just need rest. While you need that too, you need relief, you need structure, and you ultimately need more support. And sometimes you're going to need some pruning as well. I want you to consider some words from the greatest businessman this world has ever and will ever see, and that is Jesus Christ himself. These were words he said in the book of John chapter 15. He said, every branch that does bear fruit, he's going to prune so that it will even be more fruitful. That means that in this stage, it isn't just about solving problems, but it's about refining what works. You might need to pause a project, you might need to rework a service, and you might need to let go of something good so you can make space for something better. And I know that that is difficult because there is a fear. So let me back up a little. I think many people are low-key hoarders, even if they don't admit it. There's some hoarding tendencies, right? There can be a fear that if I open up my hand to let go of something, that I may not be able to have something that's going to replace it. And that's a real fear in business. Sometimes we find ourselves working with clients that we know that we don't have any joy from anymore, and they may not have any joy from us. But there is a fear that if I let them go, if I don't keep it up, then what am I going to do? And sometimes it's necessary to open up your hand and release something so that you can create the space to receive something new. Remember that pruning may feel like it's a subtraction, but it's really preparation for greater fruit. So it's a good thing. I want to illustrate this by telling you about a composite of clients that I've worked with, and I'm going to call this person Jason. Now, Jason was a consummate firefighter. We've talked about firefighting earlier. In fact, Jason was such a good firefighter that he enjoyed firefighting. Every day there was a new fire to put out, which made Jason feel like he was needed, he was doing something, like he was purposeful. There was always a missed email, a frustrated client, an opportunity that he just couldn't follow up on. Not because he didn't care, he loved his business, he wanted it to grow, but he was just maxed out. He had no capacity. Jason wasn't a procrastinator per se. He wasn't lazy. He was just disorganized, and he was now in the overgrown stage. He had built something good, but now it was beginning to overwhelm him. Jason once said that he feels like the business is running him instead of him running the business. He used to have his pulse on everything, but now he's just trying to survive from week to week. He wasn't even sure where the chaos was coming from. It felt in some cases that it was coming from everywhere. But he knew that something had to happen, something had to change. And that's really the heart of this overgrown stage. That story really illustrates where a person's mindset is during this particular stage of business. You've built something, it's working, but the weight of it is starting to crack under the foundation because the foundation is not strong enough. And before you build more, you have to be able to stop and assess what's not working anymore. This is the moment to stop reacting and to start reflecting, to have some silence. I know that many of us are prone to being doers, and it feels like if I pause, if I take a moment to think, I'm being lazy, I'm not doing the work, but it is definitely needed, and especially in this stage, is it needed. The overgrown stage is about the time to reflect. It's about time to think about what you're doing and what's working and what isn't working. It's about identifying the cracks and really preparing for sustainable growth. Here's what you need to focus on during this stage. You need to reorganize what's no longer working. What are some systems that I might have put in place, for example, that was good in the beginning, but now it's not working at all? I know I invested time in it. And let me pause here, because that's a real thing. You know, the human mind is such that when we have invested time in something and we realize that it may not be working anymore, our mind tells us, listen, You've already spent hours in doing this. You've already invested money. You can't just let it go. And so we can find ourselves continually engaging in practices and doing things that's no longer serving us because we tell ourselves that we've already put some time in it. But listen, if you realize that it's not serving you, I don't care how much time you've put into it. It's time to let it go. And that might be what's needed for some of these systems that we started when we were in stage 2 and 3, that now we're in stage 4. We're like, this is not working anymore. What are some offers that you used to offer that you realize that right now, I don't want to do that anymore? That doesn't reflect what I've learned as I've been working. That doesn't reflect the direction that I want to go in anymore. And what are some habits? What are some beliefs that you might have cherished for years, but you realize that these habits, they are not serving me anymore? It's okay to recognize them, and then it's okay to let them go. You also want to track where the chaos is coming from. Is it a client load? Is it too much where that's concerned? Do I have unclear roles for the people that are supporting me, my team? Or is it a lack of process that is needed? Do I need more processes to really make things operate better? And then you want to start pruning. Remove, pause, or refine anything that is draining your capacity. It's okay, as I said before, to let it go, because now your hands will be empty to receive all the goodness that's going to come your way. You want to get honest about what you can no longer do alone, and ask yourself, what kind of support do I need in this stage to move to the next step? I love to say it. You've heard me say it before if you've listened to previous videos, and I'm going to say it again. Just as it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to raise a business. It takes a village to grow your vision and your mission into something that's impactful and that is stable. So don't be afraid to reach out and to get some help. And you also want to recommit to your vision, because mission drift happens when you're so busy working that you don't have time to lift up your head and look around and to assess where you are. I want to give you a quick illustration of that. I don't know if you've ever been at the beach and you've ever just laid down in the water, just floating. You're looking up into the sky, you're watching the clouds move, you're watching the shapes of the clouds and all of the things. And you're having such a good time that you don't even realize how far you've drifted away from the sand, from the shore. And then you decide, oh, it's time to go back. I'm hungry, or I've had enough of being in the water. And you get ready to swim back. And then you look around and you realize just how far you are from the shore. And you say to yourself, how did I even get this far? That's what can happen in business. When your head is just down working and you're not taking the time that's needed to assess and to see where you are. Am I still on target? Am I still aiming for what I set out for? And so it's very real. You want to make sure that you're taking time to assess and to recommit to the vision. And I'm always saying this because I know how sometimes when you hear about things that you should be doing, that there's a tendency to say, okay, I'm going to try to do this, I'm going to try to do that. And you're trying to do 10 things at one time, which does not work. This isn't about fixing everything. It's just about preparing for what's next, taking it one step at a time. Let's jump into some of the common pitfalls during this stage that you want to really be on the guard for, you want to look out for. Number one is hiring people to fix chaos instead of addressing the root issue. I promise you that while hiring can be a strategic move, and you're going to need to hire in order for you to get additional support, in order for you to build capacity, and in order for you to scale, there is such a thing as hiring at the wrong time. There is such a thing as hiring from the wrong mindset. And I'm telling you that if you're steeped in chaos yourself, if you're disorganized, if you don't know what you're doing, adding people to your team doesn't make that chaos go away per se. What it does is add an additional layer of burden, because now you're still trying to figure out life and they're waiting on you to give them direction, to give them instruction, to help them to know how to do the work that they need to do. And you just feel like, I don't have any capacity. Why can't you guys just get it? And so I really want to encourage you, hiring is a good thing, but make sure that you have done some work before hiring, and you're clear on the outcomes that you want for each role, and you have the capacity to really empower people to deliver the results that you want them to deliver. The next thing you want to avoid is having hard conversations because you feel like you're stretched too thin. I just don't have enough time. And I have seen that. I have worked with a client or two who might have had an employee that they know that that employee is not really performing up to standard, but they feel as though if I let this person go, then I'm going to have to do the work that they're no longer able to do. And I don't want to do that. I'm busy. I don't have the time to deal with it. And what was a small problem over the course of time, because it's been ignored, it becomes something so huge, when if it was dealt with in the beginning, it would have been nothing. And so I really want to encourage you to make the time for the things that need to be done. Handle it. Do not put it off. The next thing you want to avoid is thinking that more clients is the answer, when what you might need is better operations. Clients are beautiful things. I need them, you need them, we all need them, right? But if you have more clients and your operations is messy or shoddy, you're not going to be able to really deliver the value to those clients. And so you really want to make sure that you're making first things first. And you also want to avoid saying yes to every opportunity because you're afraid to lose momentum. You like where you are right now. The business is producing, there's revenue, things are looking good. You're able to say, my clients. And so there can be a tendency to feel like I have to continue to say yes to everything because I don't want to lose momentum. I don't want to lose clients. I don't want to fall off. But I want to encourage you that in this stage, you're no longer proving concepts. You've done that. You're protecting your capacity, and you want to make sure that you do that through being strategic with the people that you choose to work with and the opportunities you choose to let slide. When you embrace this stage, you're going to realize that you're going to stop glorifying the grind, because we are living in a hustle culture, right? You're going to realize that freedom doesn't come from working more. It really comes from structuring better. So you want to trade that hustle culture for greater systems. You want to trade the chaos that you thrived in once for greater clarity and intentionality. And you want to stop flying solo and start building something that can run with or without you. And that's when you know that you've really built something solid, when you can step away from it and it doesn't fall apart. It continues to thrive. It continues to be sustained. Now you've given birth to a child that is no longer needing to be tied to your umbilical cord. And I'm telling you, that is a great feeling. I want to say something at this time because I think it's a fear that sometimes entrepreneurs and small business owners can have. When we talk about creating greater structure, when we talk about beginning to delegate, when we talk about no longer having the business dependent on you, there can be a fear that is there. And a fear that, well, if I try to structure things, I'm going to lose creativity. I'm not going to be the free spirit that I like to be. I'm going to be restricted. And I just want to encourage you that this isn't the death of your creativity. It's actually the birth of your sustainability. This is what's going to allow you to do more and to go further. So I want you to think about what areas of business feels the most chaotic right now. And start there. Remember, you don't have to boil the whole ocean. You don't have to do 20 things. Just what is that one area that feels like it's the most chaotic? And going back to our conversation on the first domino, if I just address this one area, it has the ability to really give me greater gains in other areas of life. Identify that one area and begin to work on it. Now, I want to encourage you that what we're talking about right here in this stage, even though it feels like a lot, I want to encourage you that the fact that you're in this stage is the proof that you need that what you've planted is working, because you're growing. The growing may be chaotic, but guess what? You're growing, you're making progress. You have some fruits to show for your labor, and that's a good thing. But it's also your invitation to pause, to prune, and to prepare for the next step. I want to encourage you that as you continue on this journey, to take advantage of the free Builder's Blueprint that I've created for you. Again, you can find the link in the description below. It will give you some resources and tools that you need to navigate this stage of business. Until our next time, continue to build and continue to become.